Okay, so today's Tuesday, the 11th, I think, and we're working towards a test on Friday. So let's see how you did on this. On this one, I have division. So when I divide, what do I do to exponents? Subtract. So I always draw my division bar. If I don't need it in the end, I don't need it in the end. But starting out, I want it there to organize. And I look at my m's, and my largest m is on the top, so that's where base m has to go. And then you subtract the small number from the big number. So 10 minus 1 is 9. My largest n is on top. 12 minus 5 is 7. 7. And my larger p, well, I only have one p. I don't have a p on the bottom. I only have it on the top, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's not negative or anything, so I leave it. And then my larger s is on top, and 8 minus 6 is 2. So in this case, I ended up not having a fraction. That's my answer.
Oh, I put a 1 underneath.
Well, if you put a 1 underneath, that's not going to make it wrong, but don't get in the habit of that.
Oh, okay.
And I explain that like this. I tell kids, like, do you have siblings?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
6.
6?
Yeah. It was just me and my brother and my sister, but then my mom got remarried.
Oh, and there's more kids there? Okay. So when I say, do you have siblings, you say, yes, I have 6. You don't say, yes, I have 6 over 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if it's a whole number, you don't need to put it over 1.
Okay.
But if you did that for this, it doesn't make it wrong.
Okay.
Okay? The next one, I'm going to draw a fraction bar. I have a coefficient of 12, and over here, a coefficient of 4. Well, you know what I'm going to do? Because I have a multiplication down here, I'm going to go ahead and do that first. So I'm going to put my 12x5yz9, and then I've got a 4, I'm going to put it first, x, y, z, 6. Does everybody understand what I did? Okay? Because that's multiplication, so I just multiplied it, and there it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. My larger x is on top, 5 minus 1 is 4. My y's are exactly the same, so they cancel out. My larger z is on top, 9 minus 6 is 3. And it's not a fraction, that's my answer. Are you guys understanding this? Okay. The last one, fraction bar. Well, here, like these two were just division. But here, I have multiplication and division happening. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of the numerator and then the denominator. And then I will go from there. So my numerator, I have a 5 times a 4, which is 20. When we multiply, what do we do to exponents? Add them. So I have a D, an E, and an F. So I have a D1 and 2 more, that's 3. I have an E7 and 1 is 8. And I have an F17. And on the bottom, I'm going to multiply. I have a 2 and I have a DEF also. And the D, I just have a 1. My E, I have a 3 and a 1, which is 4. And my F, I have an F6. So I multiplied this and got this, multiplied this and got this. Now I'm going to do the quotient rule. Doing the quotient rule, I need a fraction bar, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. I have a D3 over a D. My larger D is on top. 3 minus 1 is 2. My larger E is on top. 8 minus 4 is 4. And my largest F is on top. 17 minus 6 is 11. Ends up not being a fraction. That's my answer. Do you guys understand? Did you get them all right? Who got them all right?
No, that wasn't me.
Okay.
I thought you kept the coefficients on the same.
You thought I did what?
Like you keep the coefficients. You don't divide. I thought you didn't.
No, you have to.
I got this question.
Like this, the 20 over 2, you have to simplify. So 20 over 2 is 10. You have to simplify. You don't keep them. The only time you keep, maybe what you're talking about, is if you had this. Look here. If you had a 3 something over 4, 3 over 4 is simplified. You can't change it. But if I had a 10 over 2, I can make that a 5. A 12 over 6, I can make that a 2. So if you can simplify it, do simplify it. If you can't simplify it, you leave it alone. Now, yesterday's worksheet, the front side, I'm going to just give you the answers. So if you will take that out, the back side we're going to work because they're the more difficult ones. After I give you the answers to the front side, any one that you want me to work, just let me know and I will work it. So for those of you that are out there watching the video, they got a worksheet yesterday, which if you're not here, you'll get it when you come back as long as you ask for it. They have a worksheet like this, and we're going to go over the front answers, and then I will work the back problems, and I think I've already, I don't know if I do or not, I might already have a picture of them. No, I don't think I do, so I'll take a picture of them. That's not that one. So I'll take a picture. Okay, I'm going to give you the answers of 1 through 24, and then I'll work whatever you need me to work. Number 1, you should have gotten 9. Number 2, 24 over v squared. Don't erase. If it got it wrong, just mark through it and put the right answer. Yes.
Number 1, 9n.
Huh?
9n for number 1.
9 for number 1 is just 9. Just the number 9.
Get rid of the.
I will work them after I'm done giving all the answers. You tell me what you need me to work. Number 1, the answer is only 9. Number 2, it's 24 over v squared. Number 3, it's 3 over x to the 7th. Number 4, 3b to the 5th. 5 is 3v. 6 is 8 over x. 7 is 3. 8 is 8a to the 5th. 9, 1 over 4x cubed. 10, 64v cubed. 11, 1 over n to the 4th. 12, 1 over b squared. 13, 81, n to the 16th. 14, 8x to the 12th. 15, 1 over p to the 9th. 16, k to the 6th. 17, 3b cubed. 18, 2 over 3n to the 4th. 19, 1/3. 20, 2x cubed over 3. 21, r over 2. 22, 3 over n. 23, x squared over 2. And 24, 1 over x. Now, problems that you need me to work. You were confused by which one?
Number 1. Like, why'd you get rid of the variable?
I'll show you. You have 3n times 3n to the negative 1. What do you do to exponents when you multiply? Add them. What is the exponent with the first one on the left?
1.
A 1. So I have 3 times 3 is 9. N to the, what's 1 plus a negative 1? 0. Anything to the 0 power cancels out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because anything to the 0 power is 1, and it's all multiplication, and what's 9 times 1 is still 9. So we just cancel it out. Do I need to work any more in 1 through 24? Anybody else have a question? Yes.
9.
Number 9. Okay, I have 4x cubed to the negative 1. That means I have 4 to the negative 1 and x to the negative 3, because a power to a power you multiply, right? Well, 4 to the negative 1, how do I make a negative a positive? Other side of the fraction bar, you got to move it. So that has to go to the bottom, so it becomes down here, and it's a positive 1, which we don't show. The x to the negative 3, got to make it positive, got to move it down also, makes it x cubed. And if nothing is left on top, put a 1. Any others that I need to work in one? Yes.
Okay, so I could just say 13, but like all of the ones where there was a coefficient in the parentheses and then an exponent over the parentheses, I didn't multiply the coefficient
Uh-huh.
because when we were doing the egg puzzle or something, I guess they were using variables as numbers or something, but
Yeah.
they didn't multiply.
If they had an x squared to the cube, that would be an x to the 6. But once I throw a coefficient in there, 2x squared to the third, the 2 has to be taken to the third power. 2 times 2 times 2, which would be 8. And then your x to the multiply 6. So yes, you have to take the coefficient to whatever the power is on the outside. And you know what? And it's okay that you're making these mistakes, because that's how you learn. That is exactly how you learn. And that's why we do this. Do I need to work any more in 1 through 24? Okay. Well, this next one is going to be fun, so let's just pay attention to what we are going to do here. All right. So these can get quite complicated because they can be very large. So you got to determine, what do you want to do first? I like to, if I've got a whole lot of junk happening, and oops, come back here. Whole lot of stuff happening, and then I've got a power out there, I can work this multiple ways. It's whatever way you see. I can forget about this power for now, and I can handle the inside, which is probably what I'm going to do. Then the very last thing I'm going to do is handle this power, and then go from there. But you could do the power first and then do everything on the inside. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to do the stuff on the inside first because I find that easiest. So I'm going to go ahead and build my fraction bar. I have a 2 over 2, so that cancels out. My larger m, hold on, I got 2 m's down here, so I'm going to go ahead and I have to multiply the bottom. So that gives me an m to the negative 1 n squared still, and I'm only doing the inside. I'm not worrying about this 4 yet. Then I have a 2 times 1, which is 2. There's a 1 there. And I have an m2, and a negative 1 is an m1, and an n4, and an n4 is an n8. Does everybody know what I did? I multiplied this because I saw I have multiplication. Here I don't have any multiplication, so I just left it alone. But here I want to go ahead and multiply and get it like that. Now I'm going to handle the division. I'm not worried about this yet. I'll worry about this at the end. Yes? Say that again. They do. 2 over 2 cancels out. Why is there? Oh, because I messed up. Thank you. She said, why is there a 2 at the bottom? Because I messed up. Thank you. Catch them. You got to catch them. The 2's cancel out. So I multiplied all this stuff, got this, and I left this like it was. Now I'm going to do the division part. Okay, so now I'm going to do a fraction bar. My larger m is on the bottom. And that's a 1. It's an understood 1. 1 minus a negative 1. What does that give me? 2. Excellent. My larger n is on the bottom, and I have an 8 minus 2 is 6. Nothing's left on top, so I have to put a 1. Now I cannot forget. Now I have to remember, go back and put that 4 back on the outside. Now I got to clean that one up. 1 to the 4th power is still 1. When you have a power to a power, you multiply exponents. So I have an M8 and an N24. And that's my answer. Yes.
Okay, I was wondering when I looked over this, but the ones with the parentheses are supposed to have an exponent on like over the whole fraction.
Right, say it all over again.
Like from 25 and I guess 29 are supposed to have an exponent above on like because it's the whole fraction to the power.
Yeah, so
I don't have that on my paper.
you don't have that. Your paper looks different than this?
I don't know where the exponents are.
Does y'all's look different? No? Well, hers is. You got -2 here.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know, but let me give you another paper. I don't know why. Yeah, that would make it all wrong. Let me give you another paper just for that back part. That makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, this has all the exponents. I don't know how that happened. That's just weird. There you go. Okay, so everybody's cool with the way we did number 25? Lots of steps, but that's what you're going to have to be able to do on the test come Friday as well. So now that we've done 25, 26 is going to be a piece of cake because I don't have a power to a power. But I do have multiplication up here that I want to handle first. So I'm going to go ahead and do my fraction bar and handle that multiplication. So I have a 2, coefficient of 2. I have a A and a B. I just like to put them in alphabetical order. That's not the best color either. So A, I have a -2 and a 2. Oh, what happens there? It's a 0, isn't it? A to 0. And B, I have just a -2 over B to the -1. Does everybody know what I just did? Yes, everybody knows what I did? Okay, now my A to the 0, what's going to happen there? It's going to cancel out. It's a 1. So we just cancel it out. Now, I'm left with a 2 on the top. My A to the -2, I mean B, that's a B to the -2. B to the -2 over B to the -1. Which one's bigger? The bottom. So I have a -1 minus a -2. What do I have? That's your answer. Everybody good? Okay. Number 27. Now this one's going to have another exponent on the outside, and I also have multiplication in here. So I'm going to take care of this multiplication first. So on that one, I have, first of all, a y to the 0 power. I can cross it out. It cancels out. Y to the 0 power cancels out. I'm left with a 2x4y cubed. And I'm not going to worry about this -2 yet. Well, yes, I am, because it only goes to the top. So I'm going to put it back there. This x to the 0 cancels out, leaving y squared on the bottom. Now, this square, -2, only goes to this, not to this, because it's not in the parentheses. It only goes to this, so I'm going to fix that. So that gives me a 2 to the negative 2, x to the negative 8, y to the negative 6 over y squared. Are you guys still with me on what I've done? Okay. So now, how do I make 2 to the negative 2 positive? I have to bring it down, and it becomes 2 squared, which is 4. X to the negative 8, there's no x down here. So I have to bring it down, and it becomes x8. But where's my large y? On the bottom. And 2 minus a negative 6 is 8. If nothing's left on top, put a 1. Y'all good? Good so far? I hope everybody is. That was 27?
Yeah.
Okay. 28, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up with this outside thing here. So that would give me a 2 to the negative 3, y to the negative 3, x to the 6. Does everybody understand how I got that numerator? Okay, over, now I'm going to multiply 2 times 2, that's 4. And when I multiply, I add. So I've got x to the 4, y to the 0, cancels out. Because when I add these, I get a y to the 0. They cancel out. Yes?
I canceled out the two coefficients first before
You cancel out which one?
the 2 and the 2
Why?
because they're the same. The 2 are
Only if they're same, honey, only if they're the same, like 2 over 2. That gives you 1. That's when they cancel out.
But isn't that 2 over 2?
Is what 2 over 2?
28.
This is not 2 over 2 until you clean it up, because it's going to end up as you see.
Oh,
As you see, it's 2 to the negative 3 because of this negative 3. So I don't want to, I can't do that yet. No. Got to do one step at a time. Now I have this here going on. So now I'm going to say 2 to the negative 3. How do I make it 2 to the positive 3? Bring it to the bottom. Okay? And I have a 4 down at the bottom too, so it's that times 4. I can't forget the 4. I have my larger x's on top, and 6 minus 4 is 2. And the y is negative. There's nothing on the bottom, so I have to bring it down and make it a positive. Are y'all with me? You're not with me?
Why didn't you just solve the first half of the equation first?
Why did I do what?
Like just do 2 to the negative 3 and then solve it all and then correct it to the bottom.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. What do you think I should have done after I...
For the top, like you would solve the parentheses first, like do 2 to the negative 3 and then y.
I did 2 to the negative 3 right here.
Yeah, but no, but you like put it down instead of like solving it.
Well, I put it down on this step.
Yeah, but like you wouldn't you just do it?
Do what?
Like just solve it. Like when we have like an equation like that and it's not on a fraction, don't you just solve it and then
You can't solve 2 to the negative 3 over 4.
and then flip it?
No, you can't do that. Because 2 to the negative 3 is actually, if I only had 2 to the negative 3, that is 1/8. Because you have to bring the 2 down. It becomes 2 cubed. So you have to do it in steps, like I'm doing. And now I'm over here to this. I'm over here to this step right here. Okay? Now I can say, I'm going to leave my x squared. Now 2 to the third power is 8. 2 times 2 times 2. 8 times 4 is what? 32. And now I'm done. So I'm not real sure What you mean you can't just do a 2 to the negative 3 over 4 and simplify it. Questions so far? Are y'all understanding? Are you following along? It takes time. You have to slow yourself down. Don't try to be in a rush with it. Don't try to be in a rush with it. You probably do fine. I'm going to jump down just because it's going to be so easy. I'm going to jump down, then we'll go back up. I'm going to jump down to this one right here. What's anything to the 0 power? No, it's not 0. It's 1. So that all becomes just 1. And the reason I'm putting the 1 this time is because there's nothing else up there. If I had an X or a Y up here, I wouldn't put the 1. But there's nothing there, so I put a 1. And then on the bottom, I just have a 2x, y, 4. That's your answer. Can't do anything more to it.
If I put y4 in front of 2x, is it still?
Say it again.
If I put y4 in front of 2x, is it still?
It's not wrong, but you want to try to make sure you always put your coefficient first and the letters follow it. And often if you can do your letters in alphabetical order, that's best too. Okay, now we'll jump back up 29. Now number 29, there's a lot of ways of doing it, but the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to forget about this 2 for right now. I'm going to go ahead and clean this piece right here up. So 2 squared is 4. M to the 4, N to the 8. Does everybody know how I got that? From that little piece right there. Do you know how I got that? Yeah? Okay. So I cleaned that up. Now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to clean this up with the multiplications. Multiplication. So when I multiply, there's a 1 here. So that's still a 2. And when you multiply, you add exponents. So I have an M to the negative 6. This N cancels out. And I have an N squared. Everybody with me? I'm cleaning up the inside first. Now I'm going to simplify the 4 over 2. And 4 over 2 is 2. My larger M is on top. 4 minus a negative 6 is positive, so that's an M10. My larger N is on top. 8 minus 2 is 6. So I don't have a denominator, but now I got to remember to go back and grab that 2 on the outside, so all of that squared. And it's much easier to manage now. 2 squared is 4. M to the 20, N to the 12. That's my final answer. Are we good? As good as can be? Did anybody get any of these right? Oh, good. Okay, good. You are getting them right? Yeah, excellent.
I got 31 right.
Huh?
I only got 31 right.
Okay, well, that's okay, too. That's okay. Are you learning? Do you know what to do now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how do you grab pieces out and fix them first? So now I've got 30 and 32 left to do. And then you don't have to hear my voice anymore. Then you can get started on what you have to do. So on 30, I'm going to clean this up first. And then I'll clean that up first. Then I'll do this operation. Then I'll go back to the division. So if I clean this up first, I have a 2 to the negative 4, M to the 12, N to the negative 16. Does everybody know how I got that?
Yeah.
Okay. Times 2m in negative 1. So I'm going to clean up this whole bottom now. I cleaned up this piece. Now I'm going to do the whole thing. So 2 to the negative 4 is going to have to come to the top. And that becomes 2 to the 4th. So I still have a 2 here. My m's, I'm going to add them. 12 and 1 is 13. My n, negative 16 and negative 1 is negative 17. Are y'all with me? Okay, I still haven't done anything with the numerator. Haven't done anything with that yet. 2 to the 4th power. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. That becomes 16 over 2m13 in negative 17. Now I'm going to go and grab this piece up here. So it's on top, times 2m squared in 4. Are y'all with me? Okay. 16 times 2 is 32. I have m squared in 4 over 2m13 in negative 17. I'm almost done. 32 divided by 2 is 16. Larger m is on the bottom. 13 minus 2 is 11. Larger n is on top. 4 minus a negative 17 is 4 plus 17 in 21. That's my final answer. Yes?
So at the beginning when you moved 2 to the negative 4 to the top, why wouldn't you move into the negative 16 to the top?
Okay, where I did what? Show me on here.
So you moved this to the top.
Uh-huh.
Why wouldn't you move?
Well, I could have. I mean, I could have. You could have done that. And then you could have performed the multiplication rule up there. That would have been fine too. And her question was, why didn't I, when I moved the 2 to the negative 4 right here at the top, why wouldn't I have moved that at the same time? I could have. And if done properly, you're going to have the same answer. It's just I did it the way I see it. You may see it a different way, and that's fine. But you should always have the same answer in the end.
How do you get 16?
16 is 2 to the 4th power. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. All very good questions. All right? And now we're down to only one more to do, if you have no more questions about that. Okay, we're going to do number 32. I think that's our last one. So 32, there's a lot of things I can do, y'all, but what I see here is I see multiplication on the bottom. I want to clean that up first. So I got to clean this piece up. So I have a power to a power. It means I have to multiply. That's A8, B8 times B4. Now I'm going to clean that up. A8, and when you multiply, you add B12. Now I'm going to go back and grab the numerator and put it up there. Are you with me? Now I have a 2 on the top. My larger B is on the bottom. 12 minus 1 is 11. My larger A is on the bottom. 8 minus 2 is 6. And that's my final answer. Everybody clear on that? Okay. If you go to your Google Classroom and you find today's date, which is Tuesday, January the 11th. I thought I already, oh, it must not be in first period. In fourth period. And you go to January 11, Tuesday, which I've opened up. You will see quotient rule warm-up. That's what we've just done. It says 6 problems. You only had 3. I split it. The other 3 will be tomorrow. You're going to practice the product quotient and zero power rule. That's 20 problems on a worksheet, which I'll put out in a few minutes. Teacher, I'm not going to teacher direct them because I teacher directed this from yesterday. And then you have IXL V.6. I don't care what order you do them in. You can do V.6 first and then the worksheet afterwards. It's up to you. I will bring the worksheet and I will put it up here. So whenever you want it, you just come and get it. And you don't have to hear me talk anymore. You start hearing blah, 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 blah after a while.
We already did 2, right?
Huh?
We already did 2.
We already did. No, we did yesterday's. This is a new one for today.
Oh, okay.
Because this one is called, I've got the titles of them. This one is called Rules of Exponents. This one is called Practice product quotient and zero power rule, and I'll bring it up here. Yes. Huh? Can you borrow my laptop? Yes. Go back and get it. You know where it's at, right?